What's going on, everybody? We are excited for you to join us on this episode of Fly of the Week because we are bringing you a pattern that my stepdad, Steve Campbell, has developed and created and was recognized by Paul Weimer in his book, Favorite Flies for Fishing Yellowstone National Park. The pattern is a simple but effective pattern that has been tried and true in our local streams in the Little Juniata, Clover Creek, and Yellow Creek, but as well as Yellowstone National Park. So this is an exciting pattern for us to dive into. Real quick, we'll run over the pattern materials. We're running a 4x long hook. I'm using a 4x long 6 size 6 using a mylar. We have the white and olive marabou, a peacock herl, and the crystal flash that you can definitely use in whatever type of iridescent that you like there. But the black thread is going to be for the head, and you're going to be on your way with making one of the most effective patterns that can be used universally across the nation, and probably world. So without no further ado, let's get this thing moving. So the pattern that we have here with the Marabou Streamer is, like I said, pretty near and dear to me because my stepdad developed it. But my relationship with my stepdad was not always in the up and up, because it was one that was broken by my mom and his divorce. And before they were able to or before I was able to develop a relationship with him in the fly tying and fly fishing world, there was a separation, and I was not able to get into that world. And so whenever my mom and my brother, who was his son, had developed COVID, and they had passed away during COVID, we had reconnected, and he had asked me about wanting to learn how to tie flies and fly fish again, and that was something that I had always wanted to do. And so that was how this pattern became part of my repertoire, if you will, of patterns to tie, because it was the first pattern he had shown me how to tie. And from there, we are now in a journey that you are on with us, and we are excited to bring you along every step of the way. So what we've got after we've laid our thread on, and you don't have to lay a base all along the whole shank there. You can start closer to the bend, because we want to just tie on that mylar. And whenever you tie mylar on, you want to tie whatever side of the color that you want to be exposed. You want to tie that down, because the first thread, the first wrap, will expose the underside of that mylar, and so the silver, what we want to be exposed, will be there. The other thing I was using real quick is a flared bobbin that I put the base base underbody of a lead-free 0.15 lead-free wire. Put it in a flare bobbin. It helps me be able to quickly apply it and precisely put it where I want it to be. And then I leave my thread back out of the way, because it is very difficult to wind that wire with that bobbin, with that other bobbin ahead of it. So I just leave it behind it until. Now the trick with the mylar is to put tension on it while you are wrapping. Now, one thing that can be easier for you to do is putting your finger right here, so that your mylar does not want to jump whenever you try to make its a way around the point of your hook. And so just putting your finger there will keep the pressure point on your Mylar so that you can keep some. Now you want to pull on your Mylar. Now having a good vise is going to allow for the tension to be put on the Mylar and the hook inside your vise. I have the Bulldog vise, Bulldog grip vise here that is from Regal, and so I don't doubt that my hook will stay in place whenever I give it a little tug. So we're just going to wrap that nice and tight down to the point of my tie off. And the nice thing about Mylar is it makes a nice smooth body if you wind it properly. And so we'll tie it off at about a quarter, let's say a quarter, about 4 to 3 eye lengths back, because what we need that space is to develop a head, but also to tie on material. And so we'll just snip that Mylar off and find that piece there. And the first thing we're going to do is lay our first piece of Marabou, and we're going to just measure that Marabou on with the shank. You just want it to be just a portion, you know, just a little bit over. You kind of look at the proportion. People give you an idea to say, oh, this has to be an exact this and that. Looking at a fly and looking at where you put the material on there and you're tying in, if it looks too big, don't put it there. If it looks right, put it there. I mean, you are in control of this fly. You are making this masterpiece. You're the artist in this situation. Also, another thing about Marabou is that you have to pinch it. You need to sometimes brush those feathers back, but you have to pinch that material. Sometimes you have to pinch the material and grab it like it owes you money. And so grab it and get a nice grab on it so that you can lay it on there and get a nice snug thread wrap on it. And if you can angle some people bring your scissors at an angle and cut up here. I kind of will more of a angle on an upward scale because it allows me to build the head on a taper down, and the next layer of material will then build my taper towards my eye, because my next color will be the olive, and we're gonna continue to just layer this material with olive. And now the next layer will be ahead of the white, but it also will be just a little bit behind the white in the length of the tailing, if you will. So we want to make sure that when we tie on, do a pinch like it owes you something. Tie it down, lift up. Another easy way is that before you even put the feather, laid it down, you could have measured and you could have gotten rid of all of that and just gotten it a little bit easier now that we have. I'm just going to clean that up and trying to get that at that angle to build up. And Marabou is very fluffy and will like to kind of get in between the threads as you're wrapping, so it'll bind down, but if you can get rid of the extras in the meantime, it will help produce an easier and slender looking head with less cleanup. Okay, So now control that marabou. And if you have, some people keep a moistened sponge or some water beside their in their tying table. You can always wet your fingers and put those feathers back as well. Next thing we're going to do is take some peacock herl, and you know, the thing about timing sometimes is that, you know, if I would have started this journey a long time ago in the fly world before I was supposed to, because I think sometimes we want things ahead of time, and we can oftentimes also rush ahead of times because we know that we want and we're designed maybe for things, and we want to do great things, but I know that we had, knowing me, if I was on the streams fishing, it would have been really hard for me to get off the streams. You know, Jesus called his first disciples, they were fishermen, and he called them off the boat. I was fishing 10 hours a day when I first started fishing, and man, if you just said, hey man, stop fishing and come follow me, man, that'd have been hard for me, because like I was doing my thing. But at the time, for them though, they were expecting for him to come, for Jesus to come. So that's a little bit different, I think. But man, they left what they knew, they loved. That was their livelihood. And but that's one of the things where for me, it was. I think if it didn't happen the way it was, if Jesus didn't call me to himself before he called me to the love of fishing, I think it would have been a struggle for him to catch me in his net. So now that I got all that marabou in there, and I've got my peacock on there, and I've got my crystal flash layered, now I can just put a nice tapered head on there, and don't be afraid to use some thread. Get one more. I like it to be a little bit bulkier. And then what we do is we're gonna end at the end of there in the back, because it creates the ability for you to keep that nice taper, so whip finish closer to the end, and give it a little snip. And this, my friend, is the most effective streamer that you can utilize on the waters, and I would say it will decimate big browns, handle any of the conditions. Your peacock and your crystal flash, just want to keep it, you know, just maybe just a little bit past the marabou, and just keep everything just uniform on top and layered, and allowing for some things to just kind of roll on the side a little bit too, but just keep everything in that uniform on top look, and man, you won't be disappointed with this pattern. So remember guys, don't hide Jesus like you hide your fishing spots, and we'll catch you later. Thanks.